Maritime exploration, a monumental leap for human civilization, harbored a deadly enemy lurking in its shadows. This invisible killer, which claimed the lives of countless brave sailors on the high seas, was known as scurvy. On an ordinary day in 1497, a thrilling maritime adventure quietly began at the port of Lisbon. Portuguese explorer Vasco da Gama, leading 160 courageous crew members aboard 4 majestic warships, set sail with the determination to find a sea route to the East Indies. Their ambitious goal was to circumnavigate the southern tip of Africa, the Cape of Good Hope, and establish an unprecedented trade route. However, fate had a cruel twist in store for these intrepid explorers. Merely 68 days into the voyage, a mysterious and frightening illness began to spread among the crew. Initially dismissed as mere seasickness, the situation rapidly deteriorated. By the 84th day, death had claimed its first victims. Crew members fell one after another, with some ships losing nearly their entire complement. As the journey reached its 111th day, the entire fleet had plunged into the depths of despair. This grand and tumultuous voyage ultimately concluded with a tragic outcome. When the survivors finally returned to Portugal, only a mere 55 remained of the original 160-man crew. 22 years later, in 1519, another renowned explorer, Ferdinand Magellan, embarked on an even more ambitious expedition. He led a formidable fleet of 5 ships with a crew of 270 men, departing from Seville, Spain, to initiate humanity's first circumnavigation of the globe. Magellan's aspirations far exceeded those of da Gama. He not only sought to discover new routes, but also to prove that the Earth was round. However, history seemed to repeat itself. When Magellan's fleet finally completed this world-shaking global voyage and returned to Spain 3 years later, only 18 survivors remained. Even more shocking was the fact that half of them had succumbed to the same mysterious disease, scurvy. Long-distance sea voyages lasting months became commonplace for sailors. But scurvy, the invisible killer, remained an ever-present threat, becoming a terrifying nightmare they could not shake. But what exactly caused this dreadful disease? Why did it only appear during extended sea voyages? These questions remained unanswered at the time. The curse of scurvy was like a terrifying spell that would inevitably strike whenever a voyage exceeded 2 months. Initially, afflicted sailors would experience unusual fatigue and weakness, accompanied by irritability and restlessness. These symptoms, though seemingly ordinary, were harbingers of the deadly disease to come. Before long, more severe symptoms would manifest. The sailors would experience excruciating pain in their leg joints and muscles, and breathing would become increasingly difficult. However, the true horror was yet to come. As the condition worsened, patients' gums would begin to bleed and swell, and large patches of purplish bruises would appear under their skin. In the final stages of the disease, the situation would become even more dire. Patients' teeth would begin to fall out, internal organs would suffer severe bleeding, infections would spread throughout the body, and death would ultimately result from multiple organ failure. This disease, which only appeared at sea and was unheard of on land, plunged the medical community of the time into deep confusion. It was like an unsolvable puzzle, troubling every sailor and doctor. People couldn't understand why the same individuals, once they boarded a ship, would face such a terrible fate. This mysterious and deadly disease tormented humanity for over 100 years, seemingly without hope of resolution. In 1602, a seemingly insignificant event brought a glimmer of hope in unraveling the mystery of scurvy. The protagonist of this story was a pastor named Ane, whose experience left valuable insights for future generations. Pastor Ane's ship was en route to Mexico when, unsurprisingly, scurvy once again ravaged the crew. Watching their companions fall one after another, the survivors were filled with despair. On October 28th, as their ship approached a desert coastline, the sailors decided to bury their deceased comrades there. During this process, a surprising event occurred. A severely ill sailor, perhaps out of desperation or curiosity, plucked a nearby cactus and began to eat it. To everyone's astonishment, this sailor's condition began to improve. This accidental discovery gave hope to the surviving crew members. They quickly gathered a large quantity of cacti and brought them back to the ship. Miraculously, within just 1 to 2 weeks, all the sick crew members had recovered. For Pastor Ane, this was undoubtedly a miracle. In reality, however, a simple yet crucial scientific truth lay hidden behind this miracle. The vitamin C rich in cacti had cured the scurvy. This chance discovery, although not widely recognized at the time, laid an important foundation for solving the mystery of scurvy in later years. How did humans gradually unravel the mystery of scurvy and finally conquer this stubborn disease that had plagued the maritime world for centuries? On an ordinary day in 1747, a young surgical assistant named James Lind encountered a turning point in his life. He was promoted to ship's doctor on the HMS Salisbury, embarking on a voyage destined to change history. 2 months into the sea journey, as usual, scurvy began to ravage the ship. But this time, things were different. Dr. Lind decided not to sit idly by, but to take proactive measures to find a way to combat this terrible disease. He designed an experiment that was considered very bold at the time, later recognized as the first systematic, controlled clinical trial in human history. Dr. Lind carefully selected 12 patients with similar conditions and divided them equally into 6 groups. All 12 men maintained the same regular meals each day, but each group was given different supplementary foods. The first group drank 200 ml of apple juice daily. The second group took 25 drops of aromatic sulfuric acid before each meal. The third group took 2 spoonfuls of vinegar 3 times a day on an empty stomach. The fourth group soaked their legs in flowing seawater. The fifth group ate 2 oranges and 1 lemon daily, and the last group took a mixture of garlic, mustard, and Peruvian balsam 3 times a day. The results of Dr. Lind's experiment were shocking. After just 6 days, the patients in the fifth group who ate oranges and lemons miraculously recovered their health and returned to work in high spirits. In stark contrast, the patients in the other 5 groups not only showed no improvement, but some even experienced a worsening of their condition. The significance of this experiment far exceeded the imagination of people at that time. Not only did it point the way to treating scurvy, more importantly, it ushered in a new era of modern medical research. To commemorate Dr. Lind's great contribution, May 20th, the day Lind set sail, was designated as International Clinical Trials Day. However, even though Lind's research clearly demonstrated the miraculous effect of citrus fruits in treating scurvy, this discovery was not immediately taken seriously by the Navy. The reason was simple: fresh fruits could not be preserved during long voyages. The fruits would rot after just a few days at sea, making it impossible to solve the problem of scurvy outbreaks 2 months into the journey. Faced with this thorny problem, Dr. Lind did not give up. He began to try to extend the preservation time by boiling orange and lemon juice. But puzzlingly, the boiled fruit juice seemed to lose its effectiveness in treating scurvy. This unexpected discovery brought new confusion to Dr. Lind. Why could fresh citrus cure scurvy, while boiled juice lost its efficacy? The answer lay in vitamin C, which had not yet been discovered at that time. High temperatures destroy vitamin C, causing the boiled juice to lose its therapeutic effect. But how could Dr. Lind possibly know about the existence of vitamin C in that era? Although Dr. Lind's discovery was a milestone, his fruit therapy could not be widely promoted in the Navy due to the inability to solve the preservation problem. This meant that scurvy would continue to ravage the seas, claiming the lives of countless sailors. Faced with this seemingly unsolvable dilemma, sailors did not give up hope. They began to search for alternatives to fresh fruits. The most famous example of this was the great explorer Captain James Cook. He took a bold approach that seemed quite daring at the time, forcing his British sailors to eat German sauerkraut. This decision sparked considerable controversy at the time. British sailors detested this unfamiliar food, considering it a form of punishment. However, Captain Cook persisted because he noticed that German sailors who ate sauerkraut seemed less likely to contract scurvy. Although Cook didn't understand the scientific principle behind it, his intuition was correct. Sauerkraut indeed contains a certain amount of vitamin C. Nevertheless, the threat of scurvy still loomed over every long voyage. It wasn't until 1804 that an unexpected invention brought a turning point in solving this problem. The French invented glass jars for canning, a seemingly simple technology that opened up new possibilities for food preservation. Shortly after, in 1810, the British invented tin cans. These 2 inventions provided technical support for the long-term preservation of fresh fruits, paving the way for the complete conquest of scurvy. With the breakthrough in preservation technology, carrying fresh fruits or juices on long voyages finally became possible. This marked the end of scurvy's reign in the maritime world. A problem that had plagued humanity for hundreds of years was finally solved through technological progress. However, even though scurvy was driven out of the maritime world, people's understanding of this disease remained very limited. So how does modern medicine explain scurvy? Let's re-examine this once-dreaded sailor's disease through the lens of modern science. Modern medicine's understanding of scurvy has revealed the essence of this ancient disease. Scurvy, also known as the sailor's disease, is essentially a condition caused by severe vitamin C deficiency. This explanation, seemingly simple, encompasses profound biological principles. But the human body needs vitamin C to synthesize collagen, which is an important component in forming the connective tissues of our body, including skin, ligaments, tendons, and cartilage. When the body lacks vitamin C for an extended period, collagen fibers begin to dissolve, leading to the breakdown of connective tissues. This explains why scurvy patients experience subcutaneous bleeding, tooth loss, joint pain, and a series of other terrifying symptoms. So why are humans particularly susceptible to vitamin C deficiency? The answer lies in our genes. To understand the essence of scurvy, we need to travel back approximately 40 million years, to an era when our human ancestors were still a group of primitive primates. During the long process of evolution, a seemingly insignificant genetic mutation planted a time bomb for future humans. This mutation caused our ancestors to lose the ability to synthesize vitamin C independently. This genetic mutation wasn't a significant problem at the time. After all, in the environment where our ancestors lived, food containing vitamin C was ubiquitous. Whether it was fresh fruits or leafy green vegetables, they could provide sufficient vitamin C. However, this seemingly harmless genetic defect became a fatal weakness for humans during the Age of Exploration millions of years later. This ability to synthesize vitamin C is known in modern science as the GULOP gene. Scientists now believe that our GULOP gene was deleted because, at some stage of evolution, our ancestors lived in an environment extremely rich in food, especially fruits. They had constant access to vitamin C-rich foods, making the ability to synthesize vitamin C internally redundant, and it was eventually eliminated through the process of evolution. But why is vitamin C so crucial to us? Why does the loss of the ability to synthesize vitamin C have such severe consequences? The answer lies in every cell of our body. Vitamin C is key to keeping our cells vibrant. It acts like an energy transporter within the cell, responsible for providing fuel to the cell's power plant, the mitochondria. In the world of cells, vitamin C plays a crucial role. It's not just a simple nutrient but a core participant in cellular life activities. Imagine if a cell were a busy city, vitamin C would be both the energy supplier and traffic controller of this city. Vitamin C is particularly abundant in the kidneys. Here, it helps produce a key hormone, adrenaline. The importance of adrenaline cannot be overstated. It can instantly put our bodies into fight-or-flight mode in times of crisis. Even if a person faints for some reason, an injection of adrenaline can often quickly revive them. Conversely, if a person lacks adrenaline, they will feel unusually weak and fatigued. But the role of vitamin C extends far beyond this. In our immune system, it plays the role of a superhero. Macrophages and white blood cells, these guardians of our body, need large amounts of vitamin C to function. Vitamin C can promote faster movement of white blood cells and blood vessels, improving the speed of our body's immune response. This is why in certain poisoning cases, doctors choose to inject vitamin C to help patients recover. However, perhaps the most miraculous effect of vitamin C is its anti-aging and anti-cancer abilities. In our bodies, there are substances called free radicals, which act like little destroyers in the cellular world, capable of damaging cells and molecules, and even affecting DNA. This destructive process is known as oxidation, and vitamin C is the main force in combating this destruction. So how does vitamin C achieve this protective effect? Within the human body, there exists a powerful antioxidant army known to scientists as GSSG. Among this army, vitamin C is undoubtedly the most prominent general. It commands the entire antioxidant system, engaging in microscopic warfare with those destructive free radicals. If you can consistently obtain sufficient vitamin C, free radicals will never have the opportunity to cause excessive damage to your cells. This means your cells will age more slowly, and your DNA is less likely to be damaged, thereby reducing the risk of cells turning cancerous. This is why vitamin C is believed to help people slow down the aging process and, to some extent, prevent cancer. However, you might worry, could consuming too much vitamin C be harmful? The good news is, you don't need to worry about this at all. The human body's mechanism for processing vitamin C is very intelligent. Excess vitamin C is excreted through urine. This self-regulating ability ensures that vitamin C exerts its maximum effectiveness while not burdening the body. Yet, despite the importance of vitamin C, people during the Age of Exploration were completely unaware of it. Their helplessness and confusion when faced with scurvy are both sympathetic and thought-provoking from today's perspective. This reminds us of the importance of scientific knowledge advancement for human survival and development.